Hello YouTube, I'm here from Blue Noodle Studios and today I'm giving you another episode in my Beginner's Premiere Pro tutorial series. So here I've just got a project open of a little video review I did of the Jawbone Jambox, which is a wireless speaker. So I've just done this to get some clips open and make sure that we've got something to work with so it can be nice and hands-on rather than just having a blank project. So what I'm going to be talking about in this episode is the tools that you can use in Premiere Pro. So basically, most of them are up here, and I'm actually going to just make sure that I reset everything. I don't know if I've changed anything or not. Okay, so yeah, the tools are automatically up here, and basically if you've used Photoshop, the tools kind of do the same thing, and they just allow you to make different edits based on what tool is active. So for example, here is the selection tool, and you can press V on your keyboard. So there's a keyboard shortcut for every single one of the tools, which are very handy to know. So if you just hover over its icon, you'll see it. So the V, or the selection tool, just allows you to select clips and move them around and things like that. And it's also best for finding effects and things, so you can come and find an effect, say video effect, adjust if you wanted to more contrast. You can just easily drag that on. So just to show you what it's like, if we come down here, we can click on this title and it won't do anything, but it will select it, hence the selection tool. Then if we want, we can move it around, and then you'll see that it actually snaps to significant points. So if we bring it over here, it tries to align itself up with the end of this, then the end of this audio clip down here, or the end of this big thing up here, which shows how much is in our workspace, which is kind of how much we want to export, but I'll talk more about that later. And so that's, again, basically the selection tool. If we zoom in a bit here, then if we wanted a transition, we can try to make this a bit bigger or smaller. And so the selection tool is really just good for basic things. And then I'm just going to show you the main tools. Then there's the track selection tool. So it's kind of like the selection tool, except it's a little bit different. You can just click on something anywhere and then you can easily move it over without having to click on the top. If you go into the selection tool by pressing V, if you don't click onto the top, it tries to change all sorts of things. And yeah, so that's that. And sorry, I'll just try to get that back. And then here's a really handy one. It's called the rolling edit tool. So basically, with the selection tool, you can trim a clip. But with the rolling edit tool, if you have one clip here and one clip here, and you decide that you want this one to be a bit shorter and this one to be a bit longer, you don't have to make one shorter and then have free space and make the other longer. You can do it all at the same time. You just come in between here and then you can drag it over. And that's the basically simple and easy way to create a rolling edit. And then here's another handy tool. It's called the rate stretch tool. So this allows you to change how fast the clip is, so whether it's in slow motion or it's playing really fast. So if I just come to one at the end just for convenience. So if I move this over, then if I come to here and I press X, I believe the keyboard shortcut is, yep, for the rate stretch tool. And if I bring this out, it's going to have exactly the same clip, except it's going to stretch it. So you can see here that it's on 54.54% speed. So that if we play this back, you can see that it's quite slow. Then if we make it shorter than it was before, now it's on much faster speed. And if we play this back, we'll see that it's in fast motion. So that's an easy way. If you have a clip that's just a little bit too long or a little bit too short, you can kind of adjust it a little so it's not too noticeable. But a lot of the time you don't really want to use that too much, unless you're going for obviously a fast or a slow motion effect. And so and then here we have the razor tool. Now this is also extremely handy. I use it a lot when I've got one big clip and I'm trying to cut it up. Basically it just splits something. So if you put your mouse anywhere, so if I put it here, then it's going to split this. So what I often use this for is when I've just imported my footage and I've barely done any editing. A lot of the time if I'm filming something, I film it all in one clip, even if there's bad bits in there. So if here's a good bit, then I'll split here, Here's a good bit, I'll split here. Now here's another good bit starts. So this is a bad bit, and I'll delete this. This is a bad bit, and I'll delete this. Otherwise, it can be really hard, but that's a good workflow for me. It may not work for you, but it works for me. Otherwise, you'd probably, I don't know how you'd do it. You'd have to do this, and then copy it, and try to bring it to a different point, and drag it over. I'm sure there are other ways, but yeah, the razor tool just splits clips in half, and it's quite quick for that. And then the slip and slide tool I won't worry about. The pen tool you can use for sort of cropping things and all sorts of things. You can also use it down here to keyframe things. But it's kind of a bit complicated, so I'll probably go over it more in a later tutorial rather than in this one. And then we've got the hand tool. Now this allows us just around the place, especially in the timeline or just anywhere. It just allows us to kind of move things around. So mainly in the timeline, I think it is, sorry. You can just use the hand tool, so I believe it's H. Yeah, if you press H, or actually if you, oh no, you can't do that, sorry. Yeah, so if you press H, you can just move around the timeline. Then we've got the zoom tool. So if we click on this, then we can zoom in and out of the timeline. So if we want to come back out, then if we want to zoom in on this clip, we can drag and select this clip, and then it'll only show us this clip. So that's another handy tool for the timeline. And that's actually most of the main tools for Premiere Pro. There definitely are more, but they're a bit more minor, and these ones are the main ones which you'll be using a lot. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, then please comment, like, and subscribe. It helps me out a huge amount. And I'll see you later. Again, thanks for watching. Bye.